Hi, it's me, Daniel. A game that released in November 2022, so quite recently. It has gotten some very positive reviews if you look at everything, and mostly positive if you look at the recent reviews. It's a little bit of a strange cookie. First, I want to say that I heard through the grapevines on the internet that this game took a goddamn long time to make. There is an ungodly amount of work put into it, and you can feel it. I just don't think it's in the right spots to be fun for me. And fun for me meaning it's a subjective experience. I mean, this whole video is subjective, right? And I don't want to take this away from you. So if you like the game, this video won't be for you. You like the game already. I don't want to change your mind. God no. But if you dislike the game and you don't know why, maybe I can shed some light on it, and maybe we have similar tastes or whatever. First, I want to mention no ill will towards the developer. Obviously, I never just go into these videos and just bash the developer, because that's not who I am. I don't think they on purpose want to make something bad. Good lord, no. It just it takes way too goddamn long to make a video game for them to be like, yeah, I'm gonna make it bad. Yeah, I'm gonna fuck things up. No. It's like, no. Another thing I wanted to mention is I actually played this game twice. Well, at least the first 1 to 2 hours twice, in normal difficulty and in easy difficulty. After my first try with this game, I actually alt F4'd, of course. I was just kind of like done with it, and I had the recording, but I think 1 or 2 days later I was like, man, let me give it a try again. Let me go on easy difficulty and let's try it again. Right? I'm like, maybe I'm just bad. Maybe I'm just bad and I need an easy difficulty, which is fine. I play a lot more games nowadays in easy difficulty because it's just more fun to me. And I want to mention this right away so you can kind of get a sense of what this video will probably be about. I'm not a fan of Dark Souls. I'm not the type of guy who gets rock hard seeing a new Souls-like game drop from Software. God no. I will happily ignore it and live my life that way. I'm also not a fan of games that have a very heavy Souls-like mechanic in them or copy a lot from Souls-like games. I will give you a recounting of what happened bit by bit while I played through the game and realized certain things where I was like, oh, this is strange, oh, this is weird, oh, this is... Like, there are little bumps, and there are many speed bumps everywhere in this game. To me, again. Anyways, let's move on. First, the literal start of the video game felt awkward. Why? Because you spawn and you have to move, you have to click buttons to, stand up. But it takes so long that I wasn't sure, do I need to click a button? Do I need not click a button? Will it stand up by its own? I was kind of weirded out by that. Usually you have a little icon that just flashes the A button so you can stand up. I kind of like the presentation, and the slowiness, but not giving me an input to press to actually start playing the game. And me randomly pressing buttons and then it doesn't instantly happen. And it just slowly wakes up and slowly... It felt awkward. It just felt awkward. I think you can get away with this with pretty intense animations where each click on my controller does something to the body, like a little janky movement, some sparks flying around, maybe because the character, I don't know the story, I don't know the lore, but if the character is there for many years and suddenly moves and suddenly like breaks something apart, something falls off the shoulder because of, I don't know, dirt, something needs to happen. You need to give me a visual representation when I click a button, and it doesn't really happen at the very start of the video game. So this felt a little bit awkward, so I was just like literally doing this one. Just spamming every button. That's not fun. The bullet sponge enemies are the next thing that I really want to talk about, and also the range weapon that overheats and also I think then deals less damage, which makes the bullet sponge enemies even worse. I hate it. I just absolutely hate it. There's to me, in a Metroidvania, it makes no sense having tanky enemies like this early on in the game. Or at least in the very first area, or like 3 rooms after the beginning, or whatever it was. I can't really say more. I wish they wouldn't be there, and I wish the easy difficulty would have made this easier, but didn't really feel like it. And also, you have a melee attack, which is, again, weak, which makes no sense because it's melee. It should actually deal more damage than each shot, but it doesn't really feel like it. It's weird. It's really strange. I feel like the balancing is just a bit off, but of course, the more you raise the numbers of me, the player, or lower the numbers of enemies, the game will play itself very quickly. So upgrades, or technically level ups, how they're called in this game, don't really feel powerful enough. I think it's similar to Dark Souls and all these games where you have a level up and you can level up one of your stats. In this game, I think you have gun power, you have, was it virality? Viral? You had 2 other stats. I can't even remember them because I didn't care about them. Because my problem was, I need damage. The enemies take too long. It's boring. I want more damage. The upgrades don't matter. Or at least they barely do. I upgraded, I think, gun power by 17 levels or something. I would have to check the footage again, but you see it anyways on screen. The enemies barely die faster. It feels so bad. I'm so sad about this because I'm like, man, if I could get powerful in this game, I would 1000% play this game. 100%. I don't care if the corridors are too long, which we'll get into. The movement is too slow. We'll get into that. But if it takes me way too long to kill enemies that you force me to fight because there is no way to dodge them until you get dash, I don't even know. Maybe I'm strange. Maybe this is very Dark Souls-like, and I haven't played Dark Souls in a very long time, but I think I will again. But why do level ups that I have to fight for feel weak? Why? I understand if level ups don't matter too much, if you have a ton of level ups that you can get over the course of a long game, or if you have other ways to gain power. Best thing to compare it maybe to is Path of Exile, a game I love, where level ups kind of don't matter too much, right? Like, if you're level 16 or 24, sure, you have a lot of skill points, and you can put the skill points in your skill tree and you get some power, but this isn't your only source of power, because you have, I think, 9 or 10 item slots that can give you way more, right? And everything like multiplies with each other, and just you can get so much power very quickly depending on what you play and do, and that's awesome, right? It gives you multiple options. In this game, level up is the only thing. It needs to feel powerful because it's the only thing, at least to me. Let's move past that one. The area throws you into Deep Nest. Deep Nest, if you know Deep Nest from Hollow Knight, PTSD-inducing. Absolutely PTSD-inducing, and it kind of feels like that's where the game throws you in. It's mandatory to go through that area. You can, I think, not progress in Ghost Song, at least in the 2 playthroughs, in the 2 tries to play through the game. I had to go through it. It's on easy, it's I think slightly easier, but it's so weird how the game forces you through that area. It's kind of strange. I was like, why would you push the player in such a difficult position 10, 15, 20 minutes into the game? Like, they will die 6 times, lose all their currency because Souls-like, and then they're fucked. About this game being a Metroidvania, I briefly mentioned this, there are abilities of some sort, but they're so few and far between, and some of them are sprint. Cool, bro. And yes, there's a stamina system, by the way, in the game. And if you're wondering, wait, how does that work? Well, you don't see your stamina, nor do you see your health. That's a whole other problem. Yeah, there's no health bar, as you can see, right? There is no UI. It's beautiful in that way. I love me some unique UIs, or missing UIs. But in this game, in a Metroidvania where I can get hit and die, and there's a stamina system I have to take care of, otherwise I am screwed, I kind of need a UI anywhere. Even if you just put it on the side of the character with like a red line that gets less and more depending on my health. Both sides, by the way, because, you know, it's a 2D game. Anyways, abilities. Meh. Absolutely meh. The dash is kind of cool. I was like, oh my god, a movement ability. And then it just sucked. Because it kind of feels weird how you activate it, where if you can activate it a little bit, like if you spam it, I think you can activate it 3 times. And then you have cooldown, and then you have to wait a little bit, and can you spam it again? And by the way, the first dash gives you those iframes that you kind of need in a Souls-like, which this game very much is. By the way, if you don't find the dash, fuck you. Hi, Daniel here from the future. I want to clear something up because of the dash. I thought when I recorded this that you can progress in the game without dash. That is incorrect. You need the dash, or else you cannot get past this point. To get to this point, you fall down this long shaft. The thing is though, before you fall down this shaft, you kind of want to go to the right, as seen in the footage. You get face dash on the right side. So if you are a new player and fall down this shaft before getting dash, you will have to fight all these enemies at the bottom without iframes. That is, in my opinion, god-awful. I just wanted to clear that up, but now we can continue. On one side, I would like to just hold down the dash, to make a longer dash. That would be so much better. First of all, it reduces the amount of clicking I have to do or spamming of the shoulder buttons, whatever it is. But also, it gives me some sort of like ability to control it more. So if I need a longer dash, I can do that by holding down. Or I just want a very short one and I just click it just briefly. That would have been so much better. So much better instead of like having to press it 3 times, wait a second. It's so tedious, especially in long corridors, which this game very much has. And how do you realize that it has long corridors? Because of the slow movement speed. In my opinion, the movement speed is just way too darn slow for the areas it's in. I wouldn't mind if the game is more vertical instead of horizontal, but it is horizontal. It is a lot of horizontal areas, and yeah, that just makes moving very boring. Very, very boring. I respawned at the save thingy, right? The plant that saves you, which, just a little side note, why on earth can I miss that? I'm getting frustrated. I'm starting to cry. It hurts. If you walk past the plant that grows from the ground where you can save at, you can run past that. You don't get the UI pop up, this is a save. You can literally run past that. I did that the first time when you go to this robot dude, whatever the heck it is, to level up. This happened before, by the way. I ran past the save station. This should never, ever be a thing in your game. Saving is the most important thing in a video game, in my opinion. This needs to work. It needs to be very obvious to the player. Because if the player misses it because you implemented it wrong, it's on you if they die and lose all their progress. I know there's some sort of like soft save, but still, why would you make it so strange to save? I need a coffee. I'm so sorry being so aggressive to this game because there's so many things that I see in the first 2 hours where I'm like, if this wouldn't be here, I would love to play through this game, but I cannot force myself to play through this game with all these flaws. It's just, it's painful. So what else was on my list? There are other upgrades, I guess. Some of them, for example, let you shoot a missile. That's cool. Yes. You shoot 6 missiles at a big enemy and, you know, they don't die and then you are on cooldown and then you can't shoot missiles anymore, so it just instantly feels bad. No, you cannot manually reduce that or in some form modify it, you know. For example, if you then do two melee combos, you have regained your, your heat or whatever. No, nothing like that. You literally just have to wait, you know, screw you. I know it forces you to make like decisions of, okay, I'm playing range now and now I have to go in melee and then I have to play range and now I have to go in melee. There are people that don't like melee. Give them the option to play range. You literally give me a range option, I'll choose it. Because it's range. It's the much safer option. It feels like they're both good ideas, but just badly implemented. Or they should really work with each other, as I mentioned with, if I shoot the weapon, it goes on cooldown or it overheats, and I then do 3 melee attacks, it's instantly back at full power, and I don't think that's the case. I might have missed it. If so, that's on me. I'm very sorry. In my first try, I found a boss or some sort of like character that was a lot more than the average enemy. And I was like, okay, interesting random placement of a boss. Kind of interesting. Heck yeah, I died. The second try though, on the easier difficulty, I defeated that boss, but in a different location. And I was like, that is sick. So random boss placement in the world, that is such a cool idea and I love it. I was so happy actually finding it. I was like, whoa. Wait, what is she doing here, right? I was so happy seeing it. They fucked that up. You don't get loot. I'm not even joking. You do not get loot beating this boss that randomly appears and you cannot run away from it. Why? Seriously? Why? Loot matters. It's the only way to power yourself up. Because exploring sucks if you don't have the power. If people want to feel powerful, they need to level up. Does the game actually want me to grind? Fuck that. Also, level up doesn't matter. Because the power itself you get from leveling up is nothing. And keep in mind, I upgraded my gun power 24 times in a row. I did nothing else but went full damage. I was like, fuck it, glass cannon time, boys. Doesn't fucking matter. Because the gun overheats after like 8 shots. Keep in mind, this game is 9 hours long. And I think that comes from 2 factors. One being, the tanky enemies taking too gosh darn long to defeat. And 2, the slow movement speed and the big areas. Keep in mind, everything that I say is from the experience of the first 1-2 hours of the game. And in the trailer, you see the player like handling some sort of like hammer and just one-shotting an enemy. That is awesome. And I want to play it. But sadly, the start of Ghost Song is too slow with its tanky enemies, no iframes until you get dash, on top of making it difficult to see my own health in the middle of combat. Alright, I think I'm done. I didn't expect to talk about this game for so long. There's a lot to unpack because there is a lot in this game. There are a lot of systems and things. And I haven't even mentioned anything but gameplay because I kind of want to focus on gameplay. But you can see the game anyways, right? The game is beautiful to a degree, right? There are a lot of layers, I love it. Especially the hub area, right? Where you can see like in the distance and you can kind of feel like this is a planet, right? This is like an alien thing. It's awesome. But in the end, I'm a gameplay guy. I play the game for the gameplay. If the gameplay is just not up to something that I enjoy doing, I will stop and I will alter for. I'm pretty brutal when it comes to this. Again, this is very subjective. You might enjoy Ghost Song because of all the things I mentioned, slower combat, slower movements, slower enemies, tanky enemies, right? Maybe you love that. I kind of don't, but it also always depends on, do I have the power? Is there a way to gain power fairly quickly, and is it meaningful? And that's just sadly not in this game, so there was no reason for me to play more. There was no draw, right? Because if every upgrade of my weapon defeats enemies 1 shot faster, so if, for example, if there's an enemy that takes 9 shots, and now I take 8 because I leveled up my gun, or after 2 upgrades to my gun, it takes 8 now, I would be like, let's go. Hell yeah, I felt the difference, I feel more powerful, let's go. That wasn't the case. At least to me, after leveling up my gun for 24 times, whatever it was. I really want to see the numbers, how much more damage you get. I also didn't use the damage numbers on purpose because the standard way to play the game is apparently with damage numbers off. So I wanted to respect that from the developer. And I think I would have hated it faster if I saw the damage numbers. Because if I see the damage numbers of 10 or 20 and suddenly it's 22 with 1 upgrade to my gun, I would be very mad. Anyhow, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, even though I rambled and got pretty emotional. But yeah, that's just how it is. I love video games. I love playing video games. And I don't like wasting my time playing video games that I don't like. I didn't like Ghost Song. Sadly not. Still, I hope the developer learned a lot from these many years developing the game. Hopefully got a lot of feedback. And hopefully still made some money. And maybe he's working on some sort of bitch baby mode for me and many others and reworks the game. I doubt, because that is a lot of time and a lot of money he has to put into it. Who knows? I would love to play it again. If I see some sort of new mode or balancing update somewhere through Twitter or through some Discord, I will happily play the game again and maybe I will make another video. But as it stands right now, no. Sadly not. Again, thank you for being here, taking your time. Hope you have a great day, stay hydrated, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.